welcome to my channel. For today's tutorial, you will need a 3.5mm crochet hook, 2 colors of preferably weight 3 cotton yarn, and I'll link mine in the description down below, a pair of scissors of course, and a darning needle to weave in all your loose ends at the end. So before we start, I wanted to let you guys know that whenever I say the accent color, it's going to be the color that makes up these stripes, and the main color is going to be the color that basically underlays the rest of the shell. So go ahead and start with your main color yarn. You're going to make a slip knot and attach it to your hook. And from here you're going to chain 12. So to chain, you're going to yarn over and pull through the loop. So that's 1 chain, and repeat until you have 12. Once you have 12 chains, you're going to look for the second loop from your hook. So right here's the first loop. And then into the second loop, you're going to do a slip stitch, which means you're going to insert your hook into that loop, yarn over, pull through, and then with that same yarn, you're going to pull through the already existing loop on your hook. So that is a slip stitch. You're going to repeat that one more time for the next chain. So another slip stitch like so. Now for the next 4 chains, you're going to do a single crochet, and for a single crochet you're going to insert your hook into the loop, yarn over just like last time, but then you're going to yarn over once again and pull through the 2 loops existing on your hook, and repeat for the next 3 chains. Now check to make sure you have 5 more chains left. And in the next 2, you're going to do a half double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain, and then yarn over, pull through that chain, yarn over, pull through all 3, and you're going to do that one more time. And then in the next 2, you're going to do 2 double crochets. You're going to yarn over, insert your hook into that chain, yarn over, pull through that chain. This part's a little bit tricky. You're going to yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over again and pull through the 2 loops left. Do that one more time. Now you should have 1 chain left, and we're actually going to switch colors. So we just finished this portion here, and we're going to switch colors so that we can put the accent color like this. So take your accent color, and I would say put it on the side right here. On our last chain, we're going to do a triple crochet. You're going to yarn over twice like this. It's a little bit tricky. And then insert your hook into that chain. Yarn over, pull through that chain. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then leave the 2 loops on your hook, and take your accent color, and you're going to make a slip knot, and you're going to insert that on your hook and pull it through the 2 loops on the hook to change colors. Now you're going to chain 1 with your accent color and turn your work to the other side. So this might seem a little bit tedious, but I prefer to snip off my main color after every row because you're going to have to start on the opposite side and you can't carry it, and I'll tell you what I mean by that later on. So I'm just going to cut off my main color yarn right now. So each even row is going to be the same, so I'm only going to demonstrate once. So for our even row, which is going to be our accent color, you're basically going to do a slip stitch on the back loop of each stitch. So let me show you what I mean by that. So you chained 1, and on the first stitch, which is right here, you should see the V right here of the stitch, and you're only going to crochet on the back loop. So insert your hook into the middle of the V and only pick up this back loop here, and you're just going to slip stitch like so all across the row, only on the back loop, with your accent color. And then at the end of every row, on the last stitch, you're going to change colors. So on the last stitch here, you're going to do slip stitch, and I'm just going to leave it like this with the 2 loops on my hook. Take my main color, make a slip knot, and then feed it through like so. To start each row, you're going to chain 1 and turn your work to the other side. Now you'll notice that each side is a bit different. So the side with the extra stripe is going to be the back side. And for our 3rd row, we're actually going to crochet into this 3rd stripe of our main color, so into the single loop right here. And we're going to be carrying our accent color as we crochet across, which means we're just going to incorporate it into our stitches so that we don't have to loop it through our next row, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So for the first 2 slip stitches, you don't have to worry about that. So you're going to do 1 slip stitch onto this white loop here, and then another slip stitch into the white loop. And then starting from the single crochet, you're going to take this yarn and you're going to carry it across the stitch. And what I like to do is kind of place it like this, and you're going to go underneath that stitch and into the main loop as well. And you're going to do a single crochet, and you can see that as you stitch, the accent color is kind of in between the stitch and it's getting incorporated into the project. Now you're going to do 3 more single crochets while carrying the accent yarn. And I'll just make sure that whenever you stitch, you make sure that this yarn is kind of in the middle. Now you're going to do 2 half double crochets, and so you're going to do a yarn over and then put the accent color on your hook, like so. Now you're going to do 2 double crochets. For our last stitch, we're going to do an increased triple crochet, which means we're going to do 2 triple crochets into the same stitch. So you're going to yarn over twice, carry the yarn, insert your hook, and then just do your stitch as normal. And then do another treble crochet into the exact same stitch. And then once you have 2 loops left on your hook, you're going to take your accent color and put it through the 2 loops to change your color, chain 1 to start the next row. Like I said before, all of our even rows are the same, so you're just going to do the slip stitch row all across. And I'm also going to snip this. You might be wondering, why can't we carry this across like we did for the last row? For the slip stitch, you can't necessarily carry it across because it doesn't go in between the stitch. So I'm going to have to snip this right now and do the 4th row. Now I'm just going to slip stitch all across my work and see you for the 5th row. As a reminder, make sure you slip stitch on the back loop of each stitch. And then on your last stitch, you're going to change colors, and if you are an experienced crocheter, you would know that this is basically a single crochet. But the reason why I change colors like a single crochet on the last stitch is because I want the bottom to be a little bit more pronounced to make that seashell effect. So make a slip stitch with your main color, insert it on your hook, and then feed it through the 2 loops to change colors, and chain 1. Once again, start with 2 slip stitches, and you're going to crochet on the latter portion again. Now you're going to start carrying your accent color and do 4 single crochets. 2 half double crochets, two double crochets, one triple crochet, and then you're going to do an increased triple crochet, which means 2 triple crochets into the last stitch. And then when you have 2 loops left on your hook, change colors. Chain 1, turn your work, and I'm going to snip this yarn once again. And you're going to do another slip stitch row on the back loops only, and I'll meet you for the next row. 2 loops on my hook, and now I'm going to change colors. A slip knot, and chain 1. Start with 2 slip stitches once again into the ladder, 4 single crochets, two half double crochets, two double crochets, and then 3 triple crochets, no increases. And then change colors when you have 2 loops on your hook, and chain 1. And do another slip stitch, back loop only row. Now you should be familiar with the sequence now. You're going to do 2 slip stitches, 4 single crochets, 2 half double crochets, 2 double crochets, and I will see you when there are 3 stitches left. So I just finished my 2 double crochets and I have 3 stitches left. So what you're going to do is do 1 triple crochet, and then you're going to do a decrease on the last 2 stitches. To do so, yarn over twice, and then insert your hook into the first stitch, yarn over, pull through the chain, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, so that you have 2 loops left on your hook, and you're going to yarn over twice again, and into the next chain, going to insert your hook, yarn over, pull through the chain, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then you would yarn over and pull through all 3, but we're going to change colors here. So take your accent color yarn and pull it through, so, and chain 1, turn your work. Now this is our final slip stitch row with our accent color, so I'll meet you at the other side. And then for our final row, you're going to do 2 slip stitches, 4 single crochets, 2 half double crochets, 2 double crochets, and then for our last 2, you're going to do 1 treble crochet decrease. Then you should have 2 stitches left, and this is where you're going to do your decreased treble crochet stitch. Now you can chain one and fasten off to finish your row. You can also cut off your accent yarn. It definitely looks really hideous with all these loose ends, but trust me, it gets better once you weave them in. Now we're going to do the scalloped edging on top and also the bottom. Now for the bottom, we're going to do a regular single crochet all along this edge here. So insert your hook into the main color right on the bottom. Take your main yarn and you're going to put it through your hook and pull it through. And I'm going to do a single crochet across the row, and what I recommend is one per area of your main color. So I'm just going to again look for the bottom edging of my white color, do another single crochet, and then fasten off. And that's the bottom accent. Now we're going to do the top of the shell. So make sure your shell is right side up, and you can tell because the slip stitches are sticking out a little bit, and in the back it's a little bit less like that. You're going to insert your hook into the end, the right end of the shell. Make a slip knot with your main color, feed it through. And basically you're going to chain one. And if you can, I would recommend carrying these strings a little bit and to make sure that you leave them on the back side. So whenever there's yarn kind of on the edge here, I like to carry them for a few stitches so that they're not right at the edge. So the pattern for this shell stitch is that for each opening or each main color here, for each gap, we're going to do 2 single crochets. And then in each stripe, we're going to do a slip stitch. So I'll demonstrate on the first couple ones. So like I said, I'm going to carry these. We're going to do 2 single crochets, I would say in the same stitch, like that, and then slip stitch on top of the stripe. So insert your hook at the top of the stripe, make sure that it goes through the loop. And you're going to slip stitch like so. And then like I said, just make sure these stitches, whenever you crochet, they don't come in the front, but they stay in the back. And then again, you're going to do 2 single crochets in the middle here on the same stitch. Just going to look for a stitch right here. And then 1 slip stitch into the stripe. Again, 2 single crochets. And a slip stitch. And you're going to continue this all throughout until you reach the end. And once you get to the end, you can fasten off. And now I'm going to weave in these loose ends, and honestly, since we're making a pouch and the back side is not going to be shown, I'm not going to weave them in all the way. I'm going to weave them in just slightly and then snip them off to make my life a little bit easier. And I apologize in advance for making this monstrosity right here. So I'll get back to you once I finish doing all that. I think the next clip went missing, but I wanted to say if you're going to make a pouch like me, make 1 more of these shells, and I'm going to show you how to stitch them together in the next clip. So now you should have 2 identical shells, and we're going to basically stitch them together on the edges to make them into a pouch. And there are 2 ways to do this. The first is to take your hook and slip stitch all across the edge. The second method is to use your darning needle and to weave back and forth in between the loops. And that's what I'm going to do because I personally find it a little bit easier. So now I'm just going to cut off a long piece of my main color yarn and use my darning needle to weave starting from the upper right and weave all across the edges and fasten off right here. And then make sure you tie a knot at the beginning so that your yarn doesn't come out. And basically, I'm just going to go in between the stitches back and forth in this type of maneuver. Since I'm at the end, I'm actually going to leave a loop like this and put my yarn through to make a knot at the top right here and fasten off. And I'm going to weave these to the inside of the work. Now it's time to make the loops for our charm. Take your main color yarn and make a slip knot. And you're going to find the middle stripe of one side and you're going to insert your hook onto that stripe here. And then attach your main color yarn. Loop it through. Now I'm going to chain 8. You're going to find where you started on your main work and you're going to slip stitch in that same exact place. And this should form a loop like this, and you can fasten off by chaining 1 and cutting your yarn. Now turn your work to the other side. You're going to attach your yarn the same as last time. So this part is customizable to you. It's how long you basically want the bag charm to be. I'm going to chain 30, so you can do more or less than I do. Hey everyone, this is me from the future. In hindsight, I'm realizing that 30 chains may not be enough, so I would recommend doing a lot more than 30 chains because when you attach it to your bag or wherever you want to attach it to, it has to go through the entire charm. And right now I would have to squish the charm a little bit. So if you'd like it to be a little bit more loose, then I would recommend a lot more than 30 chains. And I'm going to slip stitch like I did on the other side onto the same stitch that I started at. And then fasten off. And now you can weave in these loose ends to the inside of your work. So this is what my final product looks like. The strap is obviously a little bit shorter because I only did 30 chains. And I'm going to demonstrate how you can attach it to your bag. So I'm going to add a few hair accessories inside my pouch here. And then to close the pouch, you're going to put the longer loop into the smaller loop like so. I'm going to attach it right onto this little loop here. So you're just going to insert the loop like this into wherever you want to attach it to. And then you're going to put the rest of the project through the loop and then pull tightly like this. And now your charm is successfully attached to your bag. That's it for today's tutorial. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below what else you'd like to see in the future. Bye!